Now, I see things happening. Things are going as they should, it appears. Certainly
Love you.
Certainly on YouTube. Oh, we got that kind word, those kind words from clowns on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, to my wife.
All right. Anyways, welcome everyone to the 4GwQPodcast podcast. This is episode number 150 for October 5th, 2017. And I am back from my 1 month hiatus that I wish part of it didn't happen, but you know, work comes into my life and had a good vacation to end that crazy shit that I was going through. But I am now back and doing some gaming and excited to do some podcasting. We have the ones who ran the ship while I was gone. First off, making his 150th straight appearance, we got ZPCI Assassin. What's going on, bud?
Hi.
We also have Taylor, aka Zebra Fries. What's up?
Hello.
And last but not least, the one who did the hosting duties while I was going through hell and then a lot of joy in Portugal. We have Italian Clowns. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Yeah, we got a lot of topics tonight. Like Clown says, I come back. We get a lot of gaming topics. So,
Inferno. Yeah, we're not live on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? This is weird. A lot of gaming topics. So
I
can see us.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see us.
I don't see anything.
Yeah,
saying.
we don't have a live chat.
Let me see, because see, Jizzle says yes, you are. Let me see. Yeah, my
tweet out the link or something, because I can't get it.
Wow,
the only thing I see on the YouTube is posted 6 days ago.
Weird. This is very weird. Hold on, let me see.
I wonder
was able to see it. Let me see.
How do you get in?
I'm gonna tweet out the link again because I'm looking at it right now and it's working. Weird. All right, I tweeted out with a bunch of caps, so hopefully that works. I can see us perfectly fine. I don't know. YouTube was being weird because when I listed it and I set it up for a live stream, it does not show up if you just go to like our channel.
Yep.
And then you go to videos, but I can see us through this link.
Yeah,
I see it now.
For some reason, YouTube only put us on YouTube Gaming, not on the regular standard YouTube.
Oh, great.
So I don't know if we have to restart to get this fixed.
Wonderful.
Because this won't show up or let anybody know that subscribe to us that we're live.
What the heck?
Inferno comes back and we have issues.
I schedule it as normal. What the? Oh my goodness. Are we gonna have to restart this whole thing? Let me see. Dashboard, live streaming.
It's a real podcast.
Live streaming live. I see the health. Welcome back. Why is this under category?
I wonder if it's because Google Hangouts. If you might have to reset up like the live stream thing. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Hold on a second. Now it should be okay. Maybe Jizzle says it made him go to the gaming subdomain. Now let me see if
Yeah, I'm seeing us on YouTube.
now it's listed. What the heck?
Yep. What'd you have to change? Sorry to interrupt the show start, but
No, this is crazy. This is absolutely educational for everyone trying to podcast here. For some reason, it was showing up as only in the gaming domain under the live stream. Like when I went to Creator Studio, there's this tick off box that I've never messed with before, and all of it, for some reason it was ticked off, which is really weird. Anyway, it looks like some people are flowing back in. Wow, I've never seen that before. So if you go into Creator Studio and you go to live streaming, there's this box that says just gaming or public, and that was just showing gaming.
Weird.
Weird. Okay. All right. Well, the show must go on. Middle-aged gamers flowing. People are flowing in now, so I think people are finally seeing it. Sorry about that little mishap. We've been live for like 5 minutes, but apparently it did not show us as live initially on our YouTube channel, just on YouTube Gaming, which is kind of weird. But anyway, so we got some topics tonight to talk about, obviously. Biggest of which probably some people bitching and moaning about microtransactions in a game that just came out recently. That's an excellent game, by the way, and hopefully you don't, change your buying decision based on a few people crying about microtransactions, because honestly, you can play without them. So if you're gonna try to ruin someone else's game experience because you don't want to engage in microtransactions, they're optional for a reason. And I actually think that the game in question, Forza 7, is much better with that kind of not necessarily microtransactions where you can buy, but the kind of loot pack system that's associated with microtransactions. I actually think it's much better having those in there, and I think the game is much more enjoyable collecting and stuff. But we'll get into that. We're also going to be giving away a code for Cuphead tonight. So look for a random drop in the chat, and whoever gets it first gets it. So we'll be talking about Cuphead. Also, we'll be talking about the Super Nintendo Classic that came out last Friday. See who got it here, who didn't get it. And looks like Nintendo is actually making a lot more of these, because I know that I've seen some news. I've gotten some emails from Best Buy, from Target and stuff, that there's been some restocks already in my area in Boston. So I don't know. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds getting maybe a little bit more exclusivity on the Xbox. Looks like Microsoft's making a push. Looks like Bluehole, the developer, is making a little bit of a push there to keep it exclusive for a little bit longer. Maybe they prefer Microsoft's networking solutions for obvious reasons. And we'll talk about the Battlefront 2 beta, which I've yet to play, but Assassin and Clowns have been playing a good amount of it. So we'll talk about that. And I think that's essentially it. Anyway, before we get started, let's just give a quick shout out to our affiliates, guys. Check out our description below. I know it doesn't have what this podcast is about quite yet, but by the time you're watching this, it may have it. But look below that. You'll find affiliate links. Shop through those. You don't have to necessarily buy what comes up, but if you do make a purchase after clicking that link through Amazon or Best Buy or or GameStop, the multiple affiliates that we have below, you will be doing us a favor, because we will get a referral bonus, which we will then turn back onto you guys. We've been getting a few clicks on that, we've noticed, so thank you guys for checking out those affiliates. And if you want, just bookmark it. So whenever you just call it Amazon, you click on Amazon at the top of your Chrome or Edge or whatever you use, Firefox, Safari, whatever. And when you click that, you'll be helping us out every time you make a purchase on those sites. So thank you, affiliates, and thank you guys for checking out those links. All right, let's start off with a kind of neutral topic, I think. I don't know. Clowns may go off in this section. I'm not really sure. I haven't really tested the waters with him. But Super Nintendo Classic came out Friday, and I know Taylor was kind of into it last time we talked, like a month ago. And so...
Not wrong.
And so I know my brother was able to get a few of them. I decided not to grab one quite yet, but I am kind of more interested the more I hear about it. And I have been getting, like I said just a bit ago, I have been getting some emails from Best Buy and Target about restocks already happening in my area. So I know that, they are a little bit easier to get, I think, than the NES Classic. I don't know. What do you guys think of the situation? What you guys been hearing? You guys still excited for it? Not excited for it? What's the general feeling in the room amongst everybody?
I want one. I just want one.
You still want one? You still want one? Has it been have you noticed in your area, Taylor, if it's been a crazy shit show where you have to stand in line, or whether or not stores have been getting stock back, or have you noticed anything like that?
From what I can tell, there were people who took work off and waited out in line, and I don't have that luxury, so
Yeah, me
I
neither.
couldn't
I'm
do
not
that.
standing out in line anymore.
Yeah, no.
Can't
But
do
I
that
don't have
shit.
that luxury, but I want one. And this is not fair.
Nice.
Hate this.
Clowns, I know you were interested in getting one, decided not to pre-order one or camp out. You had been hearing that there's been a little bit of restocking that may be going on. That Nintendo's been producing a little more of these than they were the NES Classics. So have you grabbed one since, or are you still looking to get one, or what's your thought on this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely still going to get one. Nintendo's going to be pumping these out before Christmas. They want to be able to fill up almost everybody's house that, wants one in America. So there's going to be no issues getting it going towards Christmas. I think right now we're still in the early phase of their shipment, and they probably didn't do a great job of distributing them. That's always their worst is distribution. But in the meantime, in front if I get so mad, I just get a Raspberry Pi case. You know what I mean? But no, I will get one.
No, I do know what you mean, and that's a good point because I feel like more so than the first. The NES Classic came out. People weren't necessarily sure what it was until they actually got it into their hands, and then everyone kind of figured, okay, I can make this thing myself, and people did do that with the solution you're talking about with the Raspberry Pi. And now you see people like Kotaku, you see people like Polygon, you see these different outlets before this thing even came out being like, oh, don't want to stand in line? Build your own for like $41 or something. They give you a whole guide on how to, grab a Raspberry Pi, load the software, load the emulators, buy an SNES look-alike controller made by some Chinese company and give a USB controller and then just give it a go.
And you know where they probably heard that first, right? Before the NES Classic came out, we talked about it on 4GwQPodcast, and I said it's probably a Raspberry Pi in there. You remember those days?
I do remember those days.
Yeah, but you can actually use the 8-bit DO or whatever they're called, 8-bit 3D, I don't know what they're called, but you can use them on the Raspberry Pis. You can do Bluetooth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt it. I feel like a Raspberry Pi would even be, dare I say, more reasonable for a lot of gamers like us these days. Like, nowadays you have a 60-inch TV, you got a 55-inch TV. I mean, some people have, like, still living in like the 40, the 37-inch range. But a lot of people have bigger TVs these days. A lot of gamers have bigger TVs. And, like, you're not going to sit 2 feet away from your TV. And with this thing even still, shout out to Ant on Twitter, Ant the Ruler. Guy is funny as hell. Met him at last year at FanFest 2 years ago, actually, at Xbox FanFest E3. Funny guy. He made I think it was a Snapchat video or an Instagram story where he was talking about how like it's the only problem with the SNES Classic is that the cord is still short again on this thing, and like with a Raspberry Pi, you could just have so many more, options for controllers. You can use like maybe perhaps like your Xbox controller that has Bluetooth connectivity, that kind of thing. But like this thing, I don't know. I know nostalgia's sake, like keep the controller the same, blah blah blah. But shit, like make the controller longer, include a wireless one or something. Like, god damn.
I mean, you could buy the official licensed Bluetooth controllers for like I think what $39 or something.
See, that's ridiculous. Like you should be able to use your own. You know what I mean?
Well, I know that the guys over on Hack Informer and GBA Temp and Wooloo, they're taking this thing apart, and they've already loaded the NES Classic on there with the Super NES Classic stuff.
Really? Wow. See,
so
that's a collection. That's quite a collection to have.
Don't be surprised if people start making mods for these things.
Yeah, absolutely. Jay Street in the YouTube chat says, I did get one. My wife found one on the Amazon truck. Totally shocked me. Yeah, Jizzle was telling me, go. There's a truck down on the seaport near Boston. He's like, go get one. They got that Amazon treasure truck or whatever they call it. And I know a lot of people who actually were able to get one on that treasure truck or whatever they call it. Correct me in chat, Jizzle, if you can, on the name of that. But I'm pretty sure that's what they call it. But yeah, and Jizzle's talking in the YouTube chat right now about how he was able to get, I think it's his third one that he got. He got one, I think he got a couple legitimately, and then another one he got from ThinkGeek, who exploited the fact that the NES Classic was so popular, and then had these bundles that were ridiculously priced. in typical GameStop fashion, right? So I mean, this thing is popular, and obviously, they anticipate it being very hard to get. But from what I've heard, it's gonna be a lot easier in the NES Classic. So if you think you're gonna, be selling like a kidney to get one of these things, you're probably not going to be.
Yeah, I mean, you're just gonna have to wait it out. I mean, you can't be like impulse buying right now if you want to do this, in a sane, rational manner. You just got to wait it out more towards Black Friday, towards Christmas, maybe even a little after Christmas. But Nintendo is promising hundreds of units at like Walmarts and Targets, so they should be there if Nintendo does their distribution correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think with the NES Classic, like this is Nintendo. They're obviously keeping supply low to increase demand, to keep that to be the hot thing this holiday or whatever. But I think they realized that they could have upped it a little bit more on the availability side, and it still would have been the hot thing to have. I don't think it would have fizzled out.
Inferno, I think what's really pushing them right now to try and get these out there is not because the demand is so high. It's because they don't want people on Amazon selling the Raspberry Pi kits that look like the Super NES with Bluetooth Super NES controllers.
Right. Because people have the ability to make these. It's so easy to make them, even people are 3D printing. Like with the NES Classic, I remember seeing stories left and right, YouTube videos, people 3D printing cases and just throwing a Raspberry Pi in there, and it looks so close to the original. So,
and it plays more. You can play all the way up to like I think on those things like past Dreamcast.
Absolutely. So, Assassin, haven't heard from you on this thing. I know this is kind of not in your market, but any thoughts since this thing has come out? Have you seen anything? Thought anything differently? Or
I think we should change the name from Raspberry Pi to something else, because I literally just picture a Raspberry Pi and you're just sticking things in it.
What?
But
I am so lost already.
Because you keep on talking about Raspberry Pi, so like that's what I think. Like you're talking about, someone went to Walmart, grabbed a Raspberry Pi out of the bakery section, and just plugged a controller in it. But anyways, I'm not interested. They could go away. All I care for.
Wow. See, when he said Raspberry Pi and put something in it, I thought he was referencing the good old American Pie movie.
American Pie.
Terrible.
Yeah, I think that is what you were referencing, actually.
No, I was more referencing controllers and those other crap that's in these things.
Jizzle, your brother said in the chat.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read that on the podcast. People can see that in the chat if they want. Unbelievable. All right, so that kind of like, and I mean, I don't have one in my possession right now. I know my brother told me that the thing isn't really that great. Star Fox 2, I mean, yeah, that's a major draw because that game never released to the U.S. market. I don't think that released anywhere, to be honest, but it was one of those.
Oh, it's already on the internet.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. I think it was on the internet before this thing even came out. I think people had ROMs of it because it's one of those games that, just like Half-Life on the Dreamcast, one of those games that was absolutely 100% complete, and they just never released it. But yeah, I mean, people have been getting ROMs of this thing, so I don't think that's that big of a draw. But I don't know why people were expecting to get better performance out of this SNES Classic than a ROM version of it, because if anything, you're probably gonna get better performance out of a ROM version, to be honest. But yeah, Jizzle says Star Fox and Star Fox 2 frame rates are trash on the SNES Classic because they were trash back in the day. I mean, that's how it was. I mean, you can't really knock that thing for having a bad frame rate. I mean, that's how games were back in the day. Games that involved. I mean, that was revolutionary. The FX chip and all that. So I don't know. All right, I think that's it for SNES Classic. Let's move on because we had a little bit of technical difficulty at the beginning, so I'm gonna move right along here. So what do you guys think of this? So apparently there's a little rumor floating around. I don't think it's been confirmed yet because I've been kind of off the grid again for the past day and a half from gaming news, but there's been a rumor floating around that looks like Microsoft and Bluehole, the developer of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, could be mutually discussing some extension of their previously negotiated exclusivity on console for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, a very famous game, which if you don't know what that is at this point, you listen to this podcast, I'd be very, very shocked. But basically a Battle Royale style game. These things are going nuts right now. People are just so into these style of games. Example, Fortnite Battle Royale, which came out, and I believe that's still free to play, correct?
Yep. It will remain free to play.
So yeah, Fortnite Battle Royale. Fortnite came out, got a lot of shit, including on this podcast, about how it's going to be free to play in 2018, the actual Fortnite game. But if you wanted to test it out, you could pay, the full price and play Fortnite now. But we gave that a little bit of flack. But the Fortnite Battle Royale is now already at 7 million players. And that game came out, like 3 weeks ago?
Yep, about.
So not even that long ago, already at 7 million players. But I think the news that we should be talking about is the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds thing. We'll talk about the Fortnite thing in a second, but I think the big news is the one that is really taking the internet by storm right now, which is PUBG, as they call it. So do you think this is Microsoft pushing? Do you think this is Bluehole pushing? Do you think this is a big deal? What do you guys think about this news?
I don't think it's like a really big deal. I think Microsoft is listening to some people saying that they need some type of exclusive, and something like this is big and it'll sell consoles. And I think Microsoft is probably seeing that for once, probably. That or Bluehole is pushing it a little bit because maybe they want more money.
And I think that's definitely, I think that last point you just made is definitely true, because I think that they know that they can get more money. I mean, this is so huge that, out of E3, I said this is probably one of the top 3 ever of all time third-party exclusive deals in the history of gaming, because this is such, I think the number's up to like 12 or 13 million sales on this game, and this game's not even out of beta yet, technically. So this game came out, like 6 months ago? So this is one of the biggest games going right now. Everyone knows what this is. If you watch Twitch, you watch Mixer, you're watching YouTube, you're seeing this game. This is obviously, one of the biggest pushes Microsoft's got going right now, and they know. I think Bluehole knows that Microsoft needs this, and I think Microsoft knows that Bluehole needs this, because Bluehole needs the server reliability, the network resources that Microsoft can offer.
Yeah.
And so I think they work in both ways, but at the same time, I think Bluehole knows they can get a little bit more money out of Microsoft to make this, if it wasn't 6-month exclusive, at least 6 months. So, what do you guys think, Taylor or Clowns?
I'll let Clowns go ahead on this one.
I think Microsoft's a little bit too late. I think it's so sad to say this for you guys, Microsoft, but, the fans wanted this thing locked down the moment it was announced. You dropped the ball. You made some bad choices. You only made it a launch exclusive, which several media sites have publicized that launch exclusives are usually less than 3 months. So this looks like a sore band-aid for Microsoft, and now they're trying to come in there and be like, "No, wait, fans, we hear you. We announced it at E3, but now we're going to go ahead and try to get it a little bit longer, maybe 6 months. So hope you guys are happy." No, I'm not happy. I don't want the game anymore. Take it back.
So you think it's too late because they should have had it sooner in the year? Or you think it's too late in general because Microsoft is being lazy? Like, you think people aren't going to want this?
It's being lazy.
Oh, okay.
The fans wanted this thing locked down from the beginning, right? Because it seems like that the only company that tries to lock down exclusives right now in the console market is Nintendo with their own first party, and then PlayStation. Like,
well, this is coming from a place where Phil Spencer doesn't want, one game just be stuck on whatever.
Who cares?
Let everyone play it.
This is a big deal, though, Assassin.
I know it's a big deal, but Phil Spencer doesn't understand that. Like, he doesn't understand the marketing rights. He doesn't understand keeping a game locked down. He doesn't understand any of that. He just wants everyone to play, Minecraft, PUBG, Rise, Cuphead, maybe not Cuphead, but you know what I mean.
Okay, I'll tell you what, though. If this gets extended to 6 months instead of the normal 3 months launch exclusive, people on PS4 Pro are not going to be like, I'm going to go out and get an Xbox One S or the X just so I could play the 6 months early. Because you know what they would have said if they were going to do that? They would have done it on PC already.
Yeah, I think at this point, because if they had come out at E3 and said, PUBG's coming to Xbox and it's coming next month, right? I think then people, PlayStation gamers would be like, oh, wow, like, we're not getting this, and, we're probably not getting this anytime soon, and this is a huge thing. We need to play this now. But the longer they wait, the longer it's going to be, the longer it's going to take for people to get it, and they're not going to be as interested in it. And not even because they think Microsoft's lazy, because Assassin's right. Phil Spencer isn't thinking on the same terms as us Xbox or Xbox gamers that want like exclusives locked down are thinking. That I don't know why he's not going for the kill, but he's not. And the longer they wait, the longer people are gonna be like, oh well, this is coming out and this is coming out, and I can't really get into this, and it's sad, but like I see your point, Assassin, and I agree with you on a point, but like at the same time, like this could have been so huge for Microsoft, and now it's just gonna be like kind of huge. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if you agree with that, but like I think if they had just like come out guns blazing from E3, has exclusive, like said, we're packing this in with Xbox One S's and stuff like that, or something like that. You know what I mean? They could have driven people to buy the system, but now it's like, okay, I can just play this on PC. Or now, like, what did we see this week that this game is actually going to be coming to PlayStation? They confirmed that they're working with Sony on when to do it. So
yeah, see, the whole thing is that PUBG is pulling Microsoft by the collar on this one. Like, Bluehole is really milking Microsoft. Bluehole knew what they were doing. Like, I mean, they're huge on PC. They knew that, waiting so long to lock down the exclusive, they were going to go back and forth and play Microsoft against PlayStation. They knew it. The only thing that Microsoft can do to get a win in hand is to buy PUBG outright or buy the studio, which they're not going to want to do because the studio just skyrocketed in value in Korea. It's like worth something like $5.2 billion now.
Yep.
Crazy. Yeah, I mean, if they had made a push like that, like they've proven that they'll make a push for games that are, revolutionary. Like Minecraft, revolutionary. They made a push. They bought that. They brought in the big bucks. Like $2.5 billion is not a chump change. It may be for Microsoft in some way, shape, or form, but when you hear the B word, you hear billion. Like your eyes, take notice. You hear that number. And you realize that that's a big deal. Now, is Bluehole worth $2.5 billion? Is PUBG worth that? Probably not, because
5.2 the article I read.
Yeah, but is it really worth that, or is that like this evaluation based on like the popularity right now? You know what I mean?
Well, that's how much their value is worth in the Korean market, like the stock market, and that's equivalent to US dollars. Like they already did the translation.
That's absurd.
But yeah, it's because they're doing in-game ads now with China. They're going to be adding more stuff like microtransactions, the plan is. So if this thing comes to console and I get like any in-game ads, I'm pissed off.
Yeah. Unless they do like an Amazon thing where they subsidize it and you can pay less and get ads. Or the games have been doing that for a while on mobile. Like I don't really want an ad. But, I mean, I could see the allure of that. I could see why people would want to spend a little bit less and get an ad, like, between rounds or whatever. Because this game is one of those games where, you play it, then you look for a server again, and it's like 60 seconds, and, find a server, and then there's, that 60-second down period that you're just waiting around, you're running around, like, punching people and shit before the match actually starts. Which is fun, for the first like 5-10 times, but then it kind of gets annoying. You just like stand there why not? You could show an ad there and pay less for the same game and just show an ad there. I would support that, but I tend to agree with you, clowns. I mean, if this comes out and it's ad supported, a great deal, then I'm on console, then I'd be pissed about that for sure.
Yeah, and then, like I know that Phil Spencer has always said, we got to make things available for all gamers. We can't lock stuff down, but that's just a bad mindset right now. I mean, like Xbox is complacent where they're at, and that's not. I mean, in the console market, being complacent is not good. Microsoft can afford it. Yes, it's no big deal to them, but at the same time, just being complacent and never trying to lock down exclusive for your fans that are really excited about something, that's just poor leadership and poor marketing.
Yeah, Xbox gamers want a game. I mean, Phil, I understand where you're coming from, and Assassin, described it perfectly. But Phil, I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, like, pretty much all of the people who play Xbox want something to call their own. That's a huge hit, like they had back in the 360 days. With Gears and the heyday of Halo and whatnot, and even Fable back then. Like, just exclusive, a lot of exclusives, a lot of reasons to, brag about being an Xbox gamer. And now it's like, if you lock down PUBG, Minecraft, is not exclusive, but that's kind of a big deal for Microsoft. But PUBG, that's the kind of game that you could lock down and you could stand on, right? At least right now, at least for the next year, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taylor, final thoughts on this? I know you play this game on PC, so.
From time to time, I'm not great at it, but honestly, Microsoft would have been a lot smarter had they just bought the rights to it outright and made it console exclusive or Xbox exclusive, didn't let it go on PS4 because they have no exclusives right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? Like, and some people have been saying this in the chat that Microsoft has no leverage. That Bluehole is, and Clown said it already on the podcast, that Bluehole is in command here because they have the hit. So I kind of understand why Bluehole, from a player standpoint and from money standpoint, they wouldn't want to lock it down to Xbox. But that's where Microsoft has to make it appealing for them to spend to accept a big payment to make it exclusive, or for them to have control of it. Like, look at Minecraft. They bought out Minecraft, $2.5 billion. I feel like I've said that a million times, but yep. I mean, I got to emphasize that is a big number. And, that's not exclusive. Microsoft owns that. They could say, like, fuck you all. This is on Xbox now, bitches. Like, they could say that. This is Windows 10. This is Xbox. And, you Nintendo and PlayStation plebs, like, see you later. They could say that, but they're not saying that. So there's an IP where they have put the money forward and they haven't held it exclusive. Could they do that with PUBG if they straight up bought out Bluehole and then brought it to other consoles and took like a royalty from sales on that? I mean, they could do that even. But Xbox gamers want an exclusive, so they'd want like what you just said, Taylor, and what Clowns has said. They'd want Xbox or Microsoft to buy this and then say, screw you guys, like, you have to come over to Microsoft and this is something we have above you and this is the big game going, and Microsoft has this on consoles, so screw you, kind of deal. But Assassin's right, they're not going to do that. That's not their mindset, so.
Yeah.
I feel like they're not going to do it. Jizzle says the cost to lock PUBG down is greater than the benefit of having it as an exclusive. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I think you're underestimating the seriousness and the incredible popularity this game has. Like, I know you. I'm pretty sure you haven't really played it other than when you played it on my PC, but I mean, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. I mean, Sobsky's right. PUBG will sell consoles. It's not going to convert like PlayStation people to like get rid of their PlayStation stuff and come over to Microsoft, and it might not even convert a lot of PlayStation people to buy an Xbox One S, like Clowns has said. But it's gonna get gamers onto Xbox in some way, shape, or form, but just not to the severity it would have back then, and not like people think it's going to, because I mean, who knows? A year from now, we may think, it's like H1Z1. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one talks about that shit anymore, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
whatever. All right. Moving on in the interest of time to really quick, a topic that Assassin and Clowns, I feel, are going to dominate right now. Battlefront 2 has come out with its closed beta. If you pre-ordered prior to the beginning of October, I think the last day you could do it was like October 1st to get a closed beta code. You might have gotten lucky if you pre-ordered digitally and gotten, after that time and gotten a code. But Battlefront 2 beta is now out. The game comes out next month, so I don't know how much is going to change, but Clowns and Assassin have been playing it quite extensively. I saw a lot at E3, but I haven't been able to play this beta, so I will let them take the floor. Either one of you, go ahead and tell us what this is all about.
Before Clowns becomes negative, as a Star Wars fan, I'm loving this game. I mean, there's a few negative things. I'll get that later. But, like, the sounds, the graphics with the HDR sound and look fabulous. The customization that they put into the beta so far is a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing what's in the full game, because there's a good amount. There you can change star cards. Have like a perk type thing which will help you out with certain things. I mean, that's a lot of fun. The heroes are freaking amazing. Going into Darth Maul and just going ham on the clone troopers and on Naboo is just an amazing feeling. It's awesome, just mowing down all these guys. Same thing with Rey and going against the droids on Galactic Assault. Now, speaking of which, Galactic Assault is good. It has its balancing issues, just like every game mode in this game, I think, has. The attackers barely win, I think. Like, they have a hard time, especially in Galactic Assault. And start the space one, I forget what it's called. But somehow the attackers lose like 75% of the time. It's really fucking annoying. But, I mean, it's all around fun. But as for the negative things, I swear, people are saying the time to kill is very slow. But you go up to someone and you get hit once and you're just dead. Like, and then you shoot someone and you're taking like 5 bullets. And you're like, okay, the time to kill for you is slow, but it doesn't feel that way, So I don't know what's going on between something here, but that's really annoying. On Naboo especially, there's some like plants that are growing on like side of railings. You can head glitch and people can't see you when you're doing that. So it's really annoying. A lot of places there's head glitching. And then I shot some people around corners with bullets.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on there. So.
Well, maybe they will take stuff from the beta and change it for next month. I mean, I hate to see betas so close to release because I feel like nothing's really going to happen. But EA has proven me wrong in the past. Remember Battlefield Hardline and Battlefield 1 betas, I'm pretty sure, significantly changed the way those games turned out. But those betas, I feel like, were way further away from release than this one.
No.
So I'm not really sure, but you're talking in DM, and I see you guys, and I'm at work, so I can't play it. And I'm like, damn it, you're making Battlefront 2 seem so much better than Battlefront 1. So,
well,
in some ways it is better. In some ways it isn't. So.
I think what it is for me, Inferno, is that there's not a whole lot of maps in this one yet, because it's just a beta. So I'm basing my opinion on what we do have, and the one map where there's like the clone troopers, as Assassin called them, and these dinky robots, which I don't know. As a true Star Wars fan, I don't know their name.
Yeah, bullshit.
Droids. But, I'm not a fan of that map, and I'm not a fan of those droids. I think, however, I will say that I think that DICE did a fantastic job on the graphics and the detail, and I think they did a great job on the droids themselves, because it really feels like that you are controlling a robot. Like they set out to do something and they did it correctly. Just because I don't favor the droids, that's just my personal opinion, but from a gaming standpoint, I think they did a fantastic job with it. I do like the strike missions as well that I played in there. Assassin's not a huge fan of those, but I thought The maps were kind of cool, and really looking forward to the hero stuff.
Yeah, the hero stuff seems like it's going to be much improved and much more diverse in this game, which I'm looking forward to because I like that, you know, they're obviously including stuff from The Force Awakens, so, the fresh heroes are going to be, feel rewarding to play. It's not going to... See, that was the thing with Battlefront 1. Like, it was cool to play as Darth Vader, like, a couple times, and then it's like, shit, I've seen Darth Vader for, like, 30 friggin' years. Now it's, like, nice to have Rey. It's nice to, like... have these new people like Kylo Ren, like new villains, new personalities. That this is like kind of their first time appearing in video games, so that's a momentous occasion. So that kind of thing where it just gets your excitement going more than playing Yoda in a video game, for the 50,000th time, or I mean that's not a good example, but like playing Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker. Like, come on, like I'm done playing as those guys. I want to play as the new stuff versus the old stuff in the same kind of Battlefield manner. Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a good thing to bring up. Does it feel as much like a Battlefield clone as the last game did, or does it feel like a little more diverse?
So there's certain similarities with Battlefield, which I'm glad that they did. Like the class-based system is really nice. Not everyone, because everyone has their own customization look. Like the clones, for instance, like they'll have a different visor with a different outfit. Maybe the heavy guys, they have a big backpack, a skirt for some reason. And then, the normal assault clone troopers look like the ones that you mostly saw in the movies. So you can kind of tell, if you're going against a sniper or a heavy or, a captain. So, I mean, that's nice. And, they have their own weapons, obviously. But then other things, like, they kind of got away from the Battlefield.
One thing I want to bring up more on the topic is that Assassin thinks this is fair, but for someone like I think more average than Assassin, because I think Assassin is really good at these types of games. There's no disputing that. Kill Thief and all that. He's very good at taking points away.
Actually, I get more assists in this game than I've ever gotten in any game.
Well, so after your round, or like when you die, you have all these points that you accumulate, and with those points, you can buy a hero right then and there to play in the map. So you could, with 5,000 points, you could buy a Boba Fett. You could buy Darth Maul. And so if you're really good at the game and you get those points rather quickly, you're going to be in there like those guys were with Boba Fett in the first one, just killing everybody. Mm-hmm. Non-stop. So, I mean, that could get annoying for average players.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you earn enough credits. Like, now the balancing on like the droids, you don't get as many credits if you're on the clones because you get more objective point, more points for playing the objective.
Right.
Since the droids don't really have an objective, they need a little buff in that. But like the clones, like if you play the objective, you get a shit ton of points. But if you don't, like you'll still, unless you suck like really bad and you don't do anything, like you won't be able to get these things. But like if you kill a few things, maybe stand next to your buddy that you spawn in with, because if you do things right next to them, you get more points. If you do kills, if you hit someone for like 100 points, 100%, not 100% of their health, but 100 whatever HP, you'll get that 100 HP to put into the battle points. So
let me give him a famous assassin quote right here. How? What the? How did you get Darth Maul ready? How?
Oh yeah.
We're just 2 seconds in the match.
Yeah, there are some people somehow, like right in the beginning, they have Darth Maul. I'm like, excuse me, like we just started like 3 minutes ago. How do you fucking have it? I mean, the droids barely get any points. I mean, some people get more than others because they probably cheat in some way, shape, or form, head glitch, etc., etc. But I mean, you can get a hero at least once, as long as someone's not hoarding them.
Yeah, well, I think between the beta of Battlefront 1 and the release of Battlefront 1, they adjusted the scoring a little bit. And over the course of Battlefront 1 in general, I'm pretty sure that, the heroes were balanced a ton. And getting the heroes was balanced, and how many and they had different game modes where you can have more than one hero. And So I feel like by the way you guys are talking about this, they're not like bringing the progression that they made from the last game into this game in terms of the balancing of the heroes. Like it doesn't sound like that.
It's completely different because you can just by points you can get Boba Fett, I think Chewbacca, Han Solo, Darth Maul in any of the maps that you play. Doesn't matter what mode or map, you can get them just by points. So you can be playing like team deathmatch. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, I got enough points to beat Darth Maul. I'm just going to slaughter everybody for a couple seconds.
But that's only for a couple seconds. Like, if you're not paying attention, your health can be at, like, I think he has 800 health. His 800 health could be in 0 that quick. Like, you really have to pay attention to your health because it does regen. But from what I've been seeing, I don't know if it's in the beta, but everyone seems to be talking about it. Like, if you have, like, 50% health, it doesn't go back to 100%. It goes up to a certain point. So, if you're sitting back and shooting people, you can fall back, but you're not doing anything for your team. Like, you can go in, throw some people as Darth Maul and just run, but, again, you're not going to help anyone. Because the clone troopers will respawn, like, 10 feet away.
Yeah, I mean, in the first one, they were hero pickups and villain pickups, and this one is point based. So, it is what it is. I would hope that they make it more randomized and maybe increase the points to get these characters, because I think for a really good player, 5,000 points is kind of easy for them to get.
Yeah, but then 5,000 points for someone average might be very hard. There's times where I barely even break 5,000. There's times where I can maybe get a B2 Super Battle Droid, which are fucking awesome, by the way. They sound great. I recommend everyone use those. Those are, like, a lot of fun to use. So, like, I'm a little upset that maybe I won't be Darth Maul, but then I can spawn, like, maybe I have 6,000 points. I can spawn, 2 Super Battle Droids, and, I have 300 health and blow
or an
people
X-Wing,
up.
Or a TIE Fighter.
Really, it depends on what game mode you're on. But
yeah,
you could. Yeah, if you're playing Galactic Assault, you can have some of the ships, which is kind of pointless. It's hard to see people. Mm-hmm. But you could be in the AT, the what is it? The LAAT's gunship the clones fly. You can. It's just like the Scarif DLC where you're in the fuck. Now I'm forgetting the name of it, but you could just it goes around the perimeter. You can shoot people. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of other things you can buy other than just the heroes, which make the game just as much fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I like that economy system. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are just gonna save up and get the heroes or whatever. I feel like people aren't gonna necessarily. Yeah. I mean, strategically, you probably shouldn't do that. You should probably like be a little more strategic than just getting the heroes all the time. But
well, there's some times where a hero makes sense, like especially in like the beginning area. If you're lucky enough to get a hero, like you'll be able to do some good work. But like later on, maybe it's like Darth Maul or whatnot. Like everyone's in just close quarters. Everyone's gonna be in their heavy, pulling out their minigun ability and just holding the trigger. So
right.
You're gonna take a lot of damage.
Right. Taylor, I know you have zero interest in Battlefront or Star Wars material. So let me just say,
you can just skip me.
Yeah, let me.
I got an idea. Anytime that she doesn't know what to say, we should ask her to drink bacon flavored soda or the vodka flavored soda.
Yep.
Stop it.
There you go.
Stop it.
Bacon flavored soda. You guys, it's Klaus. You sent pictures.
They won't leave me alone on this.
We should see some of the other sodas in Inferno.
Really?
Oh my god, yeah.
There's a place like a half hour from my house.
Oh, that's disgusting.
There's like an Osama bin Laden soda.
There's Osama bin Laden soda.
Yes.
There's
Fidel Castro.
Yeah, there's that one.
It's called Havana Banana.
Wow.
There's a barf soda. Like there's so many weird sodas. You're like, interesting.
What would be the description of the barf soda? Like, what is the flavor?
Literally
of that?
vomit.
Wow.
Literally vomit.
I think it says it's very acidic.
Yeah. Oh, I would say. All right. Well, anyways, we'll talk a little bit more about Battlefront next week when it's all said and done. When does the beta end? Is it Tuesday?
Monday.
It's Monday. Wow. Okay. I thought because of the holiday they didn't on Tuesday, but whatever. Anyway, so beta ends on Monday. You guys can get in the open beta starting tomorrow, but if you pre-order the game, you probably already got your code and you're missing out. So definitely download that. Download size on Xbox, Assassin?
It said 13 gigs, but it's like 17 because of reserved space.
Right. Okay. Well, I feel like downloads on Xbox have been happening a little bit quicker lately, or at least since I've been back from vacation, I've noticed that I downloaded Cuphead like super quick. I downloaded Forza. I have it on disc, but the data portion of the Forza download installation, I downloaded that super quick. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe that's been improved. But Jizzle says in the chat, 13 gigabytes for beta. Yeah, no thanks. Newsflash, that's kind of like the average these days. I'm pretty sure that's what Destiny was. COD beta was what, like 16?
Yeah, I think this beta is actually smaller than most.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what that's the going rate now, Jizzle. So I know it's been a while,
especially for a dice game.
Right? Yeah, definitely. But we'll talk about this next week when it's all said and done. We'll give a kind of like our final thoughts on it. But yeah, so let's get into something I think we all have some pretty strong thoughts about and can say a good amount about. And a lot of people are talking about this game already in chat. Pretty big deal for Microsoft. I mean, now it's available on Steam and it's available on the Windows 10 store. It's Play Anywhere title, so if you buy it on Xbox or you buy it on Windows 10 store, you also have it on the other console or the other platform, I should say. But Cuphead finally out. 3 years in the making, more than 3 years in the making, but 3 years in our minds and taking our mind share. And a lot of people were kind of like at the end of their wits here with Cuphead, and they were kind of saying that they are losing interest, kind of like what's happening with PUBG. But Cuphead was losing a lot of people's interest because they showed this game, 3 years ago at this point. 2 years ago at PAX, it was playable. I played this game 2 years ago at PAX East, so that's like 2.5 years ago at this point. Or 1.5 years ago at this point, I should say. So, I mean, it was a lot different then. They have changed a lot. Since then, everything's hand-drawn now. The art direction is amazing. People have been talking about that in the chat, having a little bit of conversation about that. And the game isn't just boss after boss after boss battle. There is a navigation system. There is kind of like a world you can navigate. You can take your own pathway towards getting to the next aisle. You don't necessarily have to play everything in a linear format. There are bosses. There are running gun sections where you can grab coins and use those coins to buy power-ups or buffs or what have you. So this game has a little bit more depth than what was initially advertised. So I think that's part of the reason why it was delayed so long. And I think part of the reason also is that literally every single frame of this game was hand-drawn, initially by a team of only a handful. But now I think the team at Studio MDHR was finally, what was the total? I think it was like 40 they got up to. I could be wrong. That could be a little too many. But Cuphead's finally out. Clowns did a review for the site. Gave it like a 9.8 out of 10, so pretty high praise. So, Clowns, you want to talk about a little bit what was in your review and what you're feeling about it now? If your thoughts have updated?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much I'm still at the 9.8 out of 10. I haven't fully beaten the game because it is very difficult. You got to have the time and the patience for it. But I fell in love with the game. The hand-drawn animation, the water-painted backgrounds, the soundtrack is fantastic. I love that old school 30s music. It reminds me of like watching Popeye and Woody Woodpecker and Betty Boop as a kid. And there's so many words I want to say, but I can't even think of to say. But I just love this game. I truly love this game, and I love the fact how the devs really put their hearts into this game. It's not like some AAA studio that came out and had like a bunch of people working on throwing stuff together here and there and say, hey, make this work. No, these are people that really wanted this game to click well and to fit well. I mean, they even went back and put in like the that retro look with like the film and the white on the film. So there's just a lot of love in this game, man. And for $20, you can't pass this up. This is a hell of a steal for $20. You're gonna get hours of enjoyment. There's replayability here. It's just a great game.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree on everything you just said. Definitely refreshing. Something definitely, a genre that's been around, since the old days of the NES, maybe even prior to that. But definitely got its heyday. Definitely got its popularity back in the NES days. This kind of, side-scrolling shoot 'em up. Not really shoot 'em up, but a lot of run and gun games, a lot of Mega Mans back in the day. A lot of games in the NES with this style, but this is a little different. The way they've gone about this is a little different. It's definitely a lot more difficult than your average side-scrolling 2D shoot 'em up kind of game. But Taylor or Assassin, thoughts on this?
I love the game, and I hate the game. It's a love-hate relationship that I have. The stupid run-and-gun levels. I've not beat the first one that you come across.
Really? Wow.
I cannot beat it. I am sitting on a screen right now where it shows, like, where you died, how close you were. I'm, like, maybe 20 seconds from finishing the level. I keep dying there.
Wow.
I can't do it.
Yeah, the running gun
Make
levels
me so mad.
The running gun levels can be really, really brutal. Like you think that those levels, because it's not a boss that you're like in a restricted area with, that you have to dodge all their projectiles and stuff, and you think the ability to be able to move forward and move back in throughout the entire level to avoid things and what have you. You think that those should be easier, but in some regards, I'm having a tough time with them. I remember. Maybe it was like 2 nights ago. I think I was in party chat with Assassin, like bitching left and right about one of the running gun levels, and I'm like, and Assassin couldn't deal with my bitching anymore, so he's like, this is the time, Inferno, where you might just want to just put the controller down and just give it a day. You know what I mean? Like come back to it another time, and I'm just like, you shut up! I'm almost done beating it. But
no,
he's like trying.
I've been playing this level pretty much since we started the podcast.
Right.
And I can't beat it still. I played it last night too and could not beat it.
Do you have the close quarters shot thing? I forget what it's called, but I know that helped a lot on that area.
I have no idea, but I don't think I bought anything yet.
No, Taylor, you have to go buy things. Like that's
no, I am almost beating this without buying anything. I want to get those coins first. I like what Fastback said in the comments. If you're not cussing, you're not playing Cuphead.
So true. So true. Oh my god, like every 2 minutes playing that, I'm swearing. Like I just cannot deal with some of the levels. And then like I'll just keep playing it and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm losing here. I'm playing the same thing like for 2 hours. Then I finally beat it and I'm just like, man, this is like right up there next to Sex's feeling. But no, but all kidding aside, like it is really rewarding on how like you really feel like you've accomplished something after you've beaten these levels, and the running gun levels included. Like don't take those for granted, people. Those levels are tough. There was the one where you have to. The one that I was bitching about was on aisle 2, where I mean this isn't really a spoiler because it has no story implication whatsoever, and it's not bosses, so I will go ahead and say it. But there's this part where you have to, parry to switch running on the ceiling versus running on the floor, and like man, there's just a lot of stuff to dodge while you do that, and there's an enemy that like blows a horn that like when he goes the words of that noise will just like go across half the screen. You have to dodge that at the right time. You can't press the Y button and dodge it. You'll still get hit, and it's just like, oh my god, man, there's just so much going on. It is so much. As much as this is like a hand drawn, like you think hand drawn, you think 30s style game, sounds, art style, you think of that kind of stuff, you think it's going to be simple, but it's far from that. So Assassin, thoughts on this? I mean, I know you've been playing it a bunch.
Yeah, I've played a lot of Cup Souls, as some people have been calling that.
No, come on.
Wow. Wow. Brilliant. Okay, continue.
But yeah, I love the game. There's some times where I wish I could just, put my hands around one of the boss's necks and just fucking strangle them because they're so difficult. And I'm just like, okay, I'll take a break and I come back the next day, 2 tries or whatnot. 2 hours later, boom, done. Best feeling in the world. And then you go right to the next boss. You're like, fuck.
I hate my life.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's kind of like the cool thing with this game. I don't know if you guys agree, but I think it's the kind of thing that makes this game unique in its genre is that you go to one boss and you beat them. You go to the very next boss and it's nothing like that. Like you can't use the same mechanics to beat another boss. Like in Mega Man, for instance, which is kind of like this in a way. You'll get to the boss and the boss will like jump around differently or like will fire their projectile differently. But the strategy is the same on a lot of those levels. Like you may want to use a different ability, but you still want to dodge in the same kind of way. In this, it's like you go to the very next level in your, quote unquote linear progression, which isn't really linear, but just bear with me here. You go to the very next boss and it's so different. You literally cannot use the same strategy at all to beat them.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's really cool about this game. I think that's so unique and it makes the challenge, it makes this game so much longer than it has to be. Because they could have just put bosses that you could just use the same strat against, and you could have just like been a 5-hour game, and people would have been like, "Oh yeah, I mean that's cool for $20, got a 5-hour game, really unique art style, blah blah blah." But like having literally a completely different experience in every single boss in the game just prolongs the game, like enjoyably so. It doesn't. You don't feel like it's like dragging on or anything because it's just so engaging. Like you have to just plan out your strategy for every separate boss like completely differently. I just really love that. All right, any other like final thoughts about this? I mean, Cuphead or Mugman, people, which one's better?
Cuphead.
Awful. Mugman is definitely better.
Well, considering I've only played as Cuphead.
Is that Assassin, Cuphead, or Mugman, bro?
Cuphead.
No way. You guys.
That's all you play as.
So, yep. Jizzle's right in the chat. It's definitely Mugman, dude.
Why?
Definitely.
What
Mugman.
makes them different?
Wow.
Besides the name.
Are you trying to say they're the same person? Like, how dare you?
They're basically the same person.
No, they're not. The angle of their straw is different. Like, you can't just... Their color's
Oh,
different.
excuse me. Their straws are different.
Wow. Way to group them into the same person, bro.
Well, they're the same person.
Cuphead all the way.
They just wear different shirts.
Jizzle says alliteration. I agree with that completely. Mugman versus Cuphead. See, it doesn't flow as well.
Yes, it does.
Siberia says Mugman because he's blue. I mean, I'm usually a red kind of guy, but I mean, I'll go with it. Mugman for life, bro. Mugman for life. I even like the story in this. Like, they didn't really even need to flesh out a story like they did. Like, the whole betting thing. Like, you look at these two characters, would you ever expect the story to be that these guys, like, kind of, like, bet their soul away, and in order for them not to get their souls taken, they have to go recover the souls of other, like, beings?
They're just so happy-go-lucky. You would never expect them to walk into, like, the devil's casino and, gamble their souls.
Yeah, and have a problem. Like...
But I guess it's kind of reminiscent of the, those old 1930s cartoons where there was a lot of, like, different religious stuff and violence in them. Like, Donald Duck and the devil on his shoulder, all that kind of stuff, and Popeye and the devil. So, I mean, it's just, like, reminiscent of those times where they used to have cartoon devils in kids' cartoons.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree. And everyone's loving it. Like, it's it's the real deal, and it's difficult when you're seeing people. Good friend of the show, Maca91 Productions. He makes incredible guide videos. If you haven't checked him out, you probably have. But if you haven't, definitely go to his YouTube channel and check him out. But he's made like guide videos on how to beat every single boss. Like, you don't see that for games like this. You know what I mean? You don't see that for just like run and gun 2D side scrollers where people are making videos on how to beat it, on how to get the highest scores, on how to get the S rank. You don't see that kind of fanfare for a game like this unless it's really good. Or unless it's really challenging and different. Like, if it was just a regular kind of side scroller, like, you don't see videos. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe I'm just ignorant and I'm not, like, of that sector. But, you know, I don't go onto YouTube and, like, regularly see when I search gaming stuff, like, how to beat, like, this guy in Shovel Knight. You know what I mean? You just don't see that. Like, Cuphead, I feel like even when Shovel Knight first came out, I didn't really see that. But with Cuphead, I go to the gaming section, I regularly see, like, you know, how to beat the cuckoo, the bird in the birdhouse or whatever. The cuckoo. I don't know what the name is. You know what I'm talking about? Like
that's the one I'm stuck on right now.
Oh my god. Crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have a point. Like, you see, you know, Rand's been posting pictures on stuff he did. Maka's been posting guides on this, and you know, beyond just your, you know, the YouTube guide. People like Maka, Polygon and IGN are now even coming up with like tactics and guides. So, I mean, this game is definitely hitting home for a lot of people.
Absolutely, and they're streaming it. Oh, go ahead, Assassin. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, it's kind of not what we're talking about, but someone should send those guides to that guy who wrote that article saying that you should skip bosses because they're too hard.
Oh,
you know that article I'm talking about? That dumbass who wants to like just watch the game instead of play it.
Terrible. We could do a whole podcast on that. We may actually. That's like man. I mean, this game is really difficult. So like, I can see people doing that, but that's just a dirty feeling for me, man.
Well, that's why you have easy mode. I mean,
right.
You won't be able to complete the game, but it's there.
Right. A couple things I want to hit.
Easy mode's not that easy though.
No, that's true.
But
that's
probably a lot easier than normal or the other
regular
difficulty.
A lot easier than regular mode, bruh.
I hate this game, but I love it.
I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about Cuphead. I would expect there to be DLC for this. Like, I know $20, you know, indie games don't really necessarily get DLC too often, but I would expect DLC for this, especially because I think it is doing pretty well. I know I've been seeing in the YouTube chat, somebody said, Fastback247 says, heard it sold 250,000 on Steam. What do you guys think it did on Xbox? I think it did better than that on Xbox, to be honest. I think I would not be surprised if it did like 500,000 on Xbox at this point. 250,000 on Steam. I don't even think it was advertised that much on Steam. It did 250,000. I think that's a big number. The game came out last week. I think that's something that they should be proud of, to be honest. I definitely think it did better on Xbox. I haven't heard anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did like close to 500,000 on Xbox. And Windows 10 purchases probably like 1,000. That store is not doing pretty well. We're not going to get into the Groove thing and how Microsoft is letting their services down, blah blah blah. That's going to have to be for a different show, but because we don't have time, because that could take a long time. But the Windows 10 store, like, they need to get that straightened out because that's a mess. Really,
for some reason though, talking about the Microsoft store or whatever, they've been calling on the new alpha whatever. They've been calling the Xbox store now the Microsoft store on the Xbox. I find that a little weird.
Well, because they want you to think it's like apps now. They want you to think it's like all one like ecosystem, not just for games and shit. Like,
yeah,
I think they need to forget about that. But that's just me. Real quick YouTube chat thing I want to get to really quick because I know there's been a few comments.
we've been getting comments on some of the past videos that people want longer shows now.
No way.
Yep.
Really?
Yep, we did.
Yeah, you should read the comment. It was kind of, yeah.
It's kind of, all right, I'll have to go check that out.
Just read it.
I'll have to go check that out. Yeah, I mean, we could definitely do, like, a longer show every month that has, like, two big topics. Like those two we just talked about, the Groove Music thing and how Microsoft's kind of, like, letting their media services kind of, like, fade away and how a lot of people are like cheating to get through games in order to review them and don't care about beating them anymore. And what was that thing about the Ubisoft, like just add a boss, like skip boss button already or something?
Yeah, because Ubisoft is putting in Origins like an educational type thing, and this guy's like loving it so much that should just have it in every game with a skip mode. He's in the wrong business if he wants the skip mode.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree.
Well, not to jump on that bubble, but that thing with Hip Hop Gamer that came out on Twitter that kind of coincides with that article about the skip the bosses. I mean, according to some of Hip Hop Gamer's tweets, he's been using cheats just to get through games. I mean, I'm not judging the guy. I mean, back in the day when I played Nintendo, I used to use Game Genie on certain levels on Mega Man, or if I beat the game and I want to do it real quick again. But yeah, I just think that the general census on that side of the industry is that they just want to be able to get through these games fast and just come up with some quick opinions and get their opinions out there, because there's so many titles coming out. You can't play Witcher 3 and play Skyrim Remastered and all in the same month and come up with a review for each single one.
No,
but if that's your job, you have to fucking deal with that.
Well, I think they need to not take on so much. I think that's the problem. But these companies, they'll do that to these reviewers and just be like, here, do this and this.
Yeah, and and I don't really want to go down this road, but I mean, just really quick, didn't Hip Hop Gamer or somebody else on Twitter said that they were provided codes from the developer, like with their review, like package or whatever, to get through the game quicker in order to do a review. Like they were provided with that stuff for the sole purpose of doing that. Like that's kind of shady,
I'm not sure. I didn't see that, but it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you, because they, when that game comes out, they want these big, what do you call them? I wouldn't say celebrities, but bigger people in the industry that are more well known to just go out there and give quick opinions real fast to get sales up for their game.
Yeah, and Fastback makes a good point in the YouTube chat that if you disclose it, like if you just disclose it right out and say that you use cheat codes to get through the game, but you want to give your opinion anyway, and you kind of like give your reason for that, then I kind of can't like knock you necessarily for it. But I mean, because you are saying it. So if somebody wants to bitch about you doing that and you are like coming out right away and saying that, then I mean, who are they to bitch about it? But like it's the people who say that like beat games in like 2 days that would take normal people like weeks to beat, and they're like, oh well, I did this in record time, and they don't want to say that they use cheat codes. Like that's just ridiculous. Really quick YouTube chat about Cuphead stuff. Somebody said, Sobsky says he would have paid AAA game price for Cuphead. Do you guys agree with that? So like $40 minimum?
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they definitely could have gotten more from Cuphead for $20. But I think that the price at $20 actually was because they were a little scared, to be honest. I really do think that, because they know that that people have been wanting the game for such a long time. They know that gamers are, let's just be honest, gamers are fickle. And like we kind of said with the PUBG thing, and like we kind of talked about a little bit with the Cuphead thing, is that games that have been like dangled in front of us for a relatively long period of time. And I know PUBG, it hasn't been a really, really long time, but with the amount of anticipation, people are, that feels like forever. Same thing with the Xbox One X. Like, I know a lot of people have pre-ordered it, but a lot of people were saying, this thing's been on the table for over 12 months now. We've known about this thing. When that thing comes out, we would have known about it for like 16 months. And so people expectations are super high. They might not get one at launch now, that kind of thing, because it's just been so long, and the anticipation has gotten them a little cranky. That happened a lot with Cuphead, and I think a lot of people were if it wasn't $20, I think a lot of people would be like, oh, we've been waiting forever for this. I think I'll just wait, kind of deal. And I agree with Siberia in the chat. Definitely played it safe with the price. Definitely played it safe. I mean, they could have gotten so much more because there's just so much more content, but definitely played it safe with the price. What else? What else? What else? Somebody else said something in the chat I definitely wanted to get to. Somebody said, I think it was Chicken Spaghetti, said that they should make pop figures of Mugman and Cuphead.
I want that.
They are making Funko Pop figures.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe they're.
Oh, see,
I want them.
I'm not a huge pop figure guy. I think they're cool, but I'm not one to like spend money on that kind of stuff. I don't even have like any amiibos or anything, but I would probably buy those because definitely Mugman.
I only have a couple of the pop things.
Yeah, some of them are really nice looking. The artwork on them is like exceptionally good for the price, but I'm not one to collect that kind of stuff. But maybe if there's a Mugman, right, Assassin?
No, but did you see that picture someone made that was posted on Twitter yesterday? It was, I don't know which one, either Cuphead or Mugman, but it was like if they were a human and it had like skin and whatever. It was kind of creepy.
I didn't see that. Yeah, that is creepy. That is creepy.
If I can find it, I'll send it to you guys.
Sobsky says in the YouTube chat, so much potential in this IP. I definitely agree with that. He says they could partner with Netflix for a Cuphead Mugman Adventures cartoon or something. I mean, this definitely has like an old school cartoon feel. But then again, like the story isn't really for kids, right? I mean, it could be like an adult themed cartoon. But
well, you know, the thing is though, like if you go back to those old Mickey Mouse and those old cartoons, they had the devil in them.
No, yeah, for sure.
And they were kids' cartoons. I mean, look at Tom and Jerry. They used to kill each other every episode, but they'd come back to life.
Yeah, okay.
The series literally ends with them committing suicide on the train tracks.
Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. We grew up with that, and they tried taking that off the air.
All right, okay. Fair points, fair points. All right, yeah, screw it. Netflix, make a friggin' cartoon. Let the kids be exposed to gambling and everything. Whatever. Screw it. What were you going to say, Taylor? Go ahead.
Listen, it's going to happen anyway. They're going to get exposed to it on YouTube.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, if they watched the 1930s Steamboat Mickey Mouse, he was gambling.
Yeah.
That's true, too. That's true, too. Sobsky says, screw the kids, cartoon would be for me. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the cartoon could be geared to it.
Honestly.
Yeah, like teenagers and above, for sure. And I think it would probably do well. I mean, a lot of people who watch cartoons are teens and adults anyway. I mean, let's just be real. Sobsky says the cups are full of whiskey. Now, you can clearly see the liquid in there is white, so I don't think that is whiskey, but what alcohol do you think those cups are full with, guys?
It's probably milk.
I'm not sure if it's alcohol.
It's milk.
Or milk.
It's definitely not smilk, clowns. Is that what you just said? Like strawberry milk?
No, milk.
Oh, just milk. I thought he said smilk, dude. I'm like, dude, it's not smilk. That's disgusting.
What is smilk? I never heard of
strawberry milk. You've never heard of smilk?
No, not together.
Mass. Apparently, in front of us.
Is that like a Northeast thing?
People don't call it smilk?
No, we call it strawberry milk.
Yeah,
chocolate milk.
Oh,
like what do you call chocolate milk? Like
choke? No, I call chocolate milk chocolate milk. But strawberry milk is definitely smilk. I mean, back me up on this one, Chisel. It's definitely smilk.
Smoke for Prez.
No, bacon flavored soda for Prez. How about that one?
No,
yes.
Stop it.
Bacon soda and centipede flavored jelly beans.
Ew, quit. Stop it. Stop it.
That is disgusting. Sobsky says Irish cream. It could be like Bailey's. Middle-aged gamer says a White Russian. Yep, kind of related. Chicken spaghetti says pina colada. It could possibly be pina colada.
I don't know alcohols.
White Russian, Jizzle says. Somebody back me up in the chat about this smoke thing. I can't be the only person who's called that smoke.
You're the only person, probably. How does that make you feel?
Getting wrecked by the viewers.
Yeah, it's definitely getting wrecked by the panel and the viewers. Jesus.
Oh yes, it can mean schmelk can mean soy milk, as Latino just said.
Definitely not.
I mean, maybe you're referring to soy milk. Maybe you grew up with some soy milk. How about goat milk? What would you call goat milk?
Milk.
What about almond milk?
Dude, I'm looking at pictures right now of Smilk.
Cashew
right? You guys
milk?
screw yourselves, all right? There's Smilk on Google right now. I'm looking on Google. I typed in Smilk milk.
You better be careful. It might pop up.
See, Jizzle says he remembers seeing Smilk on labels before. See?
No.
Yep.
Absolutely. I never.
Dude.
No, I gotta look this up.
Existence.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on. Final topic of the evening. Kind of a big topic, kind of controversial a little bit. But I mean, Forza 7's now out. Game is, don't get me started. This game is absolutely amazing. I wrote a little impressions article called Quick Play, which we're gonna be doing some quick plays. I'm not gonna be the only one writing them, but we're gonna all take a little turn writing these things called quick plays. Hopefully it's just gonna be like a quick impressions article we're gonna do on the site, keep the site active.
Real quick, Inferno.
Yeah.
Smilk 1996 was aimed at kids.
Yep.
Sold at Walmart by a company called Smilk, but it wasn't strawberry milk.
What was it?
It was just flavored milk.
Flavored with
Smilk,
what?
dude. Yeah, strawberry, dude.
It says different fruits.
Yeah, strawberry. There you go. I mean, Assassin, get owned, bro. I'm gonna send you some Smilk. All right.
That's gonna get
if
really
that will
gross.
travel well.
I'll put it on dry ice.
Jizzle.
The S stands for shitty. Yeah, see, yes, I'm telling you, Smilk was a thing.
Must have been just a Boston thing
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
us Wisconsin people.
It says
think
it said
probably the real stuff.
Midwestern Assassin. It said that it started at Midwestern dairy farms.
You guys are crazy.
I found pictures of it. I'll send it to you guys.
You guys are absurd. All right,
How
really
are
quick.
we the absurd ones?
Because
drank
all I said
Smilk.
was Smilk. All I said was Smilk, bro. All I said was Smilk, and now everyone's attacking me about how Smilk isn't an actual thing. That is an actual thing. And then people are like, "What are you talking about?" Assassin's
Shouldn't be
like,
an
"What are
actual
you
thing.
saying right now?" Everybody in the chat's like, "Smilk, what are you talking?" People are thinking that's like a sex thing. Smilk sounds like a porn thing. Chicken spaghetti says. I mean, it does sound pretty freaking dirty. And now we're getting into the. Okay, this is getting a little out of hand in the chat. Sobsky saying he drank milk right from the cow's teat. That's disgusting.
Oh.
That's absolutely
Come on,
disgusting.
man.
Chicken Spaghetti has a tagline for Smilk. He goes, "Why drink milk when you can have Smilk?" I don't necessarily agree with that. It was very disgusting, as I can remember.
Man, I think we need a sponsorship with Smilk.
Absolutely. We've mentioned Smilk more times in this YouTube episode than has been mentioned like in the past decade. So, but anyway,
You also need the sponsorship from Rocket Fizz. Is that what it's called? That
Rocket-
soda shop.
I'm not familiar with that.
It's where clowns keep saying it. It's got like the bacon flavored soda.
Oh, that's where it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, so anyway, Forza 7's out. Looks amazing, plays amazing. Game is awesome. Go check out my quick play article, 4GwQPodcast.com. But Assassin and Clowns have it. Taylor, I'm guessing you don't have it. Just a
No,
wild
not
guess.
yet.
Are you interested?
Yeah, I do like racing games.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, this is one to definitely get then. This game is absolutely awesome. I mean, the handling just feels like so much better, especially in the rain. But there were a few problems out of the gate at launch. I haven't played it in a couple days, so I'm not really sure if like the online multiplayer stuff has been fixed or a lot of the menus have been cleaned up, but
you know, I gotta say something about that Inferno. And Daz, I mean, shout out to your people out in the UK, man. When we were playing in the online multiplayer, Assassin and I,
God.
we connected to a UK server, and the first thing, like, we had to talk in game chat because we couldn't use party chat with all the bugs on the Alpha dashboard and Forza not working correctly. So, talking to game chat, and I said to Assassin, "Oh, I don't think Inferno is with us." And as soon as I said that, we had some comments from some UK gamers that were very should be censored. Just say.
Well, then they told you to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, well, with other stuff too. Yeah, they for no reason. Hey, Inferno's not here. They just start cursing.
listen, I gotta be honest. The British Forza players are, no offense to you British people that are watching the podcast, but are the most profane group of Forza players I've ever gamed with. Like,
Wow.
I've been in game chat with some Well, that's not fair because they have British accents. I can't say that they're absolutely British, but they have British accents. The swears and like the derogatory like words that come out of their mouths as they like miss turns, like get crashed into on multiplayer matches, are just like giggle worthy, even for an adult like myself. Like it's just incredible how they react, and it's like such a joy playing with them. But like it's just like constantly like giggle worthy, like blush worthy stuff being said in the YouTube, in the not the YouTube chat, in the general chat, not the game chat rather, not party chat, but it's great. It's absolutely great.
Yeah, and I think they're already having their what do you call that? Your pub time, like instead of afternoon tea, they were drinking their like afternoon whiskey and shots and
nice
beers.
Nice. So yeah, the game's pretty good. Assassin or Clowns, do you have anything, or Assassin, do you have anything to say? Clowns gave his spiel. Assassin, do you have anything to say about this game, like in particular to the game, not the British people?
Well, it's nice to be out of the alpha preview and not have the game run at like 2 frames per second sometimes. But I mean the weather effects. Oh, they're so good, so good, so good.
Yeah, way better than in Forza 6. Like this game looks miles beyond what Forza 6 looked like, and that's just in 1080p. Like I would be willing to say that this game was developed like with One X in mind, like it then brought down to Xbox One, because like the quality of the visuals is just such a step beyond Forza 6. And I know it's been 2 years. So I mean, you'd think 2 years of progression is a long time, but like that jump from Forza 5 to Forza 6 wasn't like, you know, as groundbreaking as Forza 6 to Forza 7 in my opinion. And it's a lot of the same tracks. Like it's literally, I mean, I'm in a group of, I'm in a DM group with a bunch of Forza players on Xbox, and they talk about how similar the tracks are from Forza 6 to Forza 7, and how like literally they feel like they're copy and pasted, and like no one's pissed about that. Like people don't, that's not something to bitch about, you know?
I complained about it to Assassin.
Yeah, he's like, I thought all the tracks were new. Why is this one from Forza like 2?
Yep. Yeah, I complained. I complained about it. You know, I don't like the load times in this one. I don't like the way
long. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Maybe the X will speed it up, but still, I don't like it for the S. I don't like the what was I gonna say? The menus. I don't like the way the menus are in this one. I think it's terrible. The Drivatar guys are kind of cool. The loot crate system is my favorite. I can't wait to spend real money in that.
Triggered like 90% of the community apparently.
What's that?
You just triggered 90% of the community apparently with the loot boxes.
Well, no, I'm serious. Like
I know. I'm
pissed off that I got to do the XP grind for now for them. But if they actually turn on real money exchanges for them, which I guess is not known yet, they haven't made a statement. But if they do, I'm going to be super happy, and I'm going to be buying as much cars as I can, and I'm just going to like hardly play the game and just buy all the cars.
For people that are pissed about the microtransaction thing, like, do I support like pay to win schemes? No. But if you're pissed about just the existence of microtransactions in games when you don't have to use them in order to play the game at your normal known pace and play style, then that's a you problem, I think, unfortunately. Yeah. And if you, I mean, feel free to comment or hit us up on Twitter about this, because this is I think this is an important topic in gaming nowadays, because like a lot of people are just online like bashing games for having microtransactions, and this is the future of gaming. Like I hate to you know break it to you people in such a brash manner, but I mean honestly, like that's a you problem if you can't get by the fact that you can get that those exist, because there, you know, as much as I used to think this occurs, I don't think that there's a contingency of people on the internet that are like, look at me, I just spent $200 on microtransactions and I'm way further than you. Like
I want to be that guy that spends like $1,000 and go on Reddit and be like, I barely played the game, but look at all the cars I got. Check out my garage.
See, and there is a contingency of people that will do that for like YouTube hits or like or fame, but not like to have it all, you know, like I have it all. Like everyone wants it all, right? Got to catch them all Pokemon. But like people aren't gonna like, you know, go rub it in their friend's face on Xbox Live. Like you're not just gonna join an Xbox Live party and like brag about how you spent $200 on microtransactions and like these people are plebs compared to you and all that nonsense. Like I feel like that doesn't exist. But
maybe me and Jizzle should have like a competition of who could buy the most loot crates and open them.
There you go. There you go.
Well, no, we'll since I game share with Assassin though, will he get the stuff that I open up?
Nope.
Really?
Imagine if he did though, how mad he'd be at me because he'd be like, "You're ruining the fun," because he'd have all the cars in the garage.
Yeah. Can you imagine, Assassin, if like you turn on your system like one night or one day and all of a sudden like you have all these cars in your garage and you're like, where the hell did these come from? And Clowns is like, I just bought them. What would you say? How'd you feel about that?
Just tell him to get the fuck out. Except he would be popping some achievements since the cars are tied to your collection, which you get an achievement for every time your collection goes up.
That's right. That's right. And that's why I think the loot box system is cool because like there is like a collection metric now. There is like a collection score. Like there is a collection rank for your cars. And I think that like values collecting the cars so much more than it used to. Like, yeah, you can talk about having all the cars. You can go online and race with the car that's super rare and people will take notice or what have you. But there wasn't like this metric really other than like your car number to really, you know, like measure up to or track your progress or really feel a sense of accomplishment like it is now. And I think that's what's cool about the loot crate system. And yeah, of course they're going to tie it to real money. Of course they're going to have microtransactions. It's a source of income. A lot of these games make more money on their friggin' microtransactions than they do in the actual game. Like look at GTA Online. Like look how many times people buy like shark cards and all this shit. The game's 4 years old.
Yeah, but you know, I gotta say something on this aspect, Inferno. Like, I think that I understand why companies are doing it because they're making a ton of money off it and gambling. It's essentially gambling. That's what they've determined it to be at this point. And gambling is addictive. But the thing is, you're making a $60 title when the game should typically cost about $79, maybe $85 right now with the market inflation. Maybe some might even argue like $100. But then you get a company like Microsoft, they'll make different iterations of the game, like, you know, a $60 game, a $79 version, and then like a $100 version. And you buy the $100 version, and you still have all the same microtransactions as all the other ones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, and that is a huge topic of controversy that the higher edition games are losing their higher edition value. You know, like Ultimate Edition doesn't necessarily mean Ultimate Edition in the Forza franchise anymore. You're not getting everything that will come out. You're not getting necessarily more of a value, like $40 more value for the Ultimate Edition than the $60 version, because especially with the VIP thing that it looks like they are turning around on, by the way. But initially, like, you were just going to get 25 uses of a credit increase, and then that was it. Like, your VIP membership was not even close to as valuable as it used to be. So that's like kind of a slap in the face and saying to your fans, you know, like, we essentially just want you to buy the microtransactions. Like, we want you to grind, obviously. Like, we want you to play the game, log hours, we want you to buy the game. But at the same time, we know that a lot of people aren't up for that, and we know that we can get money for these things, and we want you to buy the microtransactions. That's what it's saying. So Clowns, like, yeah, I mean, it's crazy that the higher edition value of the game isn't really getting the higher edition money value of content anymore, and that, you know, you're subject to buying or collecting enough credits to buy the same like loot packs as everyone else. Like, it would have been nice if you know, the Ultimate Edition included like 20 loot packs or something like that. I mean, like, you got, you know, your VIP loot packs that included like those cars that I was just talking about. But other than that, like, you feel like you're not getting your money value anymore, which sucks. And it's gonna lead to people not buying the ultimate version of this game anymore if they keep doing that and devaluing what's included. So, Assassin, do you have any thoughts on that?
Not about the loot crates, but I have something very annoying that they never added, but I'd like to say probably for the 1000th time and annoys everyone.
What?
Where's the fucking colorblind assists? I'm saying this for like 4 years now, or 3 years now. Like, where the fuck are they? Yeah. I want to actually slow down where it tells me to. I don't want to slow down like miles away thinking that's where I need to stop when it's actually, miles ahead of me.
So, forgive me for being ignorant, but does that mean that when the red shows up for you to hit the brakes, you just flat out don't see it, or you see a different color?
So like the darker, at nighttime or really foggy or, cloudy, like I can see like the yellow, and sometimes I can notice a different color change to it. But on like sunny days, the line's like not there.
Wow. That's brutal. I'm sorry.
And same brutal. Like on the Forza track, or the Horizon DLC, or not Horizon. Oh my God, Forza Horizon DLC for Hot Wheels. That's what I want to say. Yes. On the purple, or not purple, the orange on what I assume is an orange brake line is just gone. Like it blends in.
Right. I mean, it blends in for people that aren't colorblind too. Like that's a huge problem on that game too, even for people that don't have that problem. But like, what you should do is just turn the assist line off altogether then, and just
but then like credits. Sometimes I'm not paying attention, and then like because that yellow line, like I can kind of recognize, I need to slow down here. Sometimes I won't even pay attention; it'll just drive right off the track. I'm like, oh, maybe I should have stopped.
Nice. Man.
Assassin brings up a good point, though. I mean, like, Microsoft is trying to be very inclusive of people with different disabilities and different, cognitive issues, and they can't even get the colorblind assist in this game. So, where is Turn 10 as far as disability assistance is concerned? If Microsoft and Satya Nadella is all on, like, one page and saying, hey, we need to get, disability assistance in and include everybody, Turn 10's over there in the UK making this game, and people that are colorblind have been complaining. And Turn 10's like, what is colorblind, huh?
Yeah, it's not like you have to, change, have the system like, the grass, the sky. Just do it on the brake line. Like, that's all I care about. Like, I don't want to see some gray grass or, a pink whatever car. Like,
yeah. No, I mean, I feel like that's a very easy fix. I just, and I reckon, and people like are colorblind for the color red. That is like a serious issue that is like prevalent. That's not just like affecting like 10 people. So that is something that they probably should consider. But the fact that they haven't done it in, all this time is kind of ridiculous. And I think that it would be silly if they didn't know that was a problem. So I think they probably do know that's a problem, and they should do something about that. Sobsky has a solution for you in the YouTube chat that I think you're going to just say it doesn't work. But he says, what if you just set it so the line only appears when you're supposed to brake? That way when you see the line.
That's what I have it set up.
Right, that's what I figured you were going to say. Yeah, so that's the thing, Sobsky. Like, sometimes you'll be going so fast that the line doesn't even, like, show yellow for a long enough period of time. It'll just be like if a turn is kind of like fairly sudden, but not like a direct like 90-degree turn, but like a sudden turn after another turn, it doesn't show up necessarily as yellow first. So you in that situation, like, he wouldn't see that at all. You know what I mean? Like, it just shows up as red and he wouldn't see it at all. It just won't show up as yellow at all. So like, I'm sure you've noticed that. If you've played Forza, you probably noticed situations where yellow doesn't show up first.
Yeah. Or it's very, like...
Very quick. Like two triangles, quick. And that's it.
Or sometimes, like, way on the... Like, up the track's, like, big lengthwise. Sometimes, like, way on the far right, maybe in the middle. You don't see it on your right or left. depending on, you know, which way you're going.
Daz says you got to know the track. I mean, that's true too. Like after racing it a few times, you will know like those turns are sharp in this direction and to expect it. And sometimes like, you know, you got to poke down at the mini map every once in a while. Like my eyes are always darting on Forza down the mini map, but at the same time, like they do include it as an assist for a reason. So I mean, it should be accessible to everyone, even though.
Especially if you're playing multiplayer, like that brake line, like you need to know exactly when to brake or, you know, whatever to get, you know, that leg up on maybe the person in front of you.
Right. And then what if like you play the track in mirrored, you know, you're not playing the track in its regular orientation, you're going like backwards, you're playing the mirrored mode. So then you get to that point where it's like, what are you supposed to memorize, like the forwards and backwards of the track? So, I mean, it's tricky. It is tricky. I understand, like, the elite Forza players, you know, they will memorize the track for the most part and know, like, when they see certain visual cues, like, that's when to brake and stuff like that. But yeah, and like you say, Daz, it also, it depends on your setup as well. But, I mean, they have that brake line in there for a reason. Like, what if you, Assassin, what if you put the full line on and then as soon as you notice, like, the blue disappearing, that's when you stop braking?
See, the blue line annoys me. Like, I just like seeing just, you know, the nice, you know, track, you know, how it normally is. You know, just kind of enjoying the, you know, the race.
Got it. Makes sense. I do, too. Like, I hate the blue line for the same reason. Like, I pretty much know the line to race on some of these tracks by now at this point because they've been included in like a million racing games as Clowns has talked about. But like I just want to see the pavement, and the pavement in this game is beautiful. So
yeah,
especially when it rains. So Chris Hughes SNR wants to know: can you change the contrast in system settings? I don't think you can. I think you can just change it on your TV. I don't know if you can change it in system settings.
I don't know. I don't really pay attention to those.
He says he thinks you can make adjustments in Xbox system settings that will help you out a little bit. Well, maybe. I don't know. He says he hasn't paid attention, so. Assassin, you should check that out after the podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else more on Forza? I think that's pretty much it. Get it. Game is awesome.
Yep.
Just came out yesterday for everyone, standard. 2 days ago. For the standard version, but if you got the Ultimate Edition, you've had it for almost a week now. So, the Ultimate Edition case is awesome. The tin, I love the tins they do. The hard cases,
yeah,
love them.
Thank you to the generous donor for the Forza 7.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep. Well, I don't know if it was a donation. I mean, should we play back the audio or?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, just making sure. All right, I think that'll do it for another episode of 4GwQ. Next week we'll be talking about. Oh, I just got a little notification on my computer. Next week we'll be talking about. Oh no, we won't be talking about Shadow. Well, maybe we will, but Assassin, you and Clown's not getting it, right?
No.
Oh, tragic.
Yeah.
I've reached out to Warner Brothers to see if they'll send us press review copies for us to review, but I haven't heard back, of course.
Yeah. Well, maybe. We'll see what happens. But I've been seeing a lot of reviews for that game, and that's supposed to be like one of the biggest games of the year, and that game is not doing well.
No, not at all. I wasn't surprised.
I gave it a 9.5. I didn't rate it, but
some people
yeah,
are just some people are just shitting on it.
A lot of people are not happy about the pay to advance scheme in that game.
Like, well, you don't pay attention to it, it'll be fine.
Like on Metascore right now, it's an 86, but a lot of the big publications are giving it bad reviews. So, I mean, GameSpot gave it a 70, which I think is pretty low for, you know, a game that's a sequel that plays very similarly to, you know, the game that was up for like Game of the Year 3 years ago. That's a pretty low score. I mean, Polygon gave it a 75. Those are kind of low scores for a game like this. So, we'll talk about that next week. Some other extracurriculars. Oh, we won't be talking about In the Shadows because that's not out until Friday, but maybe 2 weeks from now. But yeah, that'll do it for us. Go to our website, obviously, 4GwQPodcast.com. Find us on social networks. Just search 4GwQPodcast. You'll find us on everything. Please consider liking this video, subscribing if you're on Mixer or YouTube. Hit that follow/subscribe button. We would appreciate that. And until next week.
Yeah, and I hope you guys out there enjoy Forza 7 as I'll be playing Golf Story 2. Or Golf, whatever it's called, Golf Story on the Switch.
Jesus.
Boy, a better game. See you later, guys.
Excuse me.
Peace out.
Bye.
Write a review, clowns.
Yeah.